everyone, this is Domina Mara, and I hope everybody had a fantastic and warm Thanksgiving. I spent my Thanksgiving in San Francisco, as you guys know, so this is going to be a recap of my San Francisco trip. But before I get to that, I would like to thank all of my new YouTube subscribers and all of my really recent subscribers on Instagram and on Twitter. Oh, I am going to be back in LA until the end of the last week of December, and then I'm going to be taking a trip with my family until New Year's, and I'm going to be in Cabo for the first time, so yay. I want to give a quick shout out to everybody who had been in the fires here in Northern California and in Southern California, but Northern California was really, really bad. The week that I was here, the air quality went up to over 250, which is really unhealthy. They shut schools down. People were wearing masks even in the subway and buses and, you know, bicycles and even in their Ubers and stuff like that. So it was really, really bad. I took a video of what it looked like in Oakland because that's where I was sessioning. You couldn't even see across Lake Merritt, which is the area in which, you know, I was going to session in. And when I was walking, it wasn't even 10 to 20 minutes and I started getting a headache like right here, and I started swaying to the side, and this homeless guy even commented, "Hey, you better be careful out there." Yeah, it was really smoky. So big shout out with thoughts and prayers to everybody who was affected by the fires up here. I'm glad that it had finally gotten containment, and by the time I left, it rained really, really hard for a couple of days, and so it cleared out all of this air, and now it's around 14 to 20s in air quality, so that's very, very good. So yay! I want to give a shout out to the dungeon space that I was sessioning out of, Blackthorn. It is located in the Oakland area. I tried to reach out to a couple more spaces that are here in San Francisco proper because that's where I was staying, but unfortunately, I don't know if it was because there's too many things happening and there was a holiday coming up and all this stuff. I didn't hear back from any of them, even with follow-ups and emails and stuff like that. So I want to give a shout out to Blackthorn. It is a private property with 3 spaces, beautifully decorated. It has a bunch of equipment in every room, cleaning supplies, everything you need from everything you need. Thank you to that. It was just a wonderful experience sessioning in a different space and a much bigger space than I'm usually used to because it's the whole first floor of a house. And the decor was like this Gothic, Victorian, modern, chic place space. It's fantastic. And I really loved it. I wish I could live there too. During my time here, I was able to revisit my favorite dim sum place. San Francisco has a really huge Chinese community, and so one of the places that I get my dim sum fulfillment, I'm not gonna name the place that I ate at, but if you guys recognize the ceiling and the decor of this place, it's one of my favorites to go to while I'm here. During my time in San Francisco, I was also fortunate enough to take a stop at the De Young Museum. If you guys haven't been yet, it is in the Golden Gate Park, and it is fantastic. Right now they have an exhibition for contemporary Muslim fashion, and the work is gorgeous. So if you are in San Francisco, do take the time to stop by and check it out. Blows my mind out of the water. The park is also a very lovely area, and the De Young Museum is across from the Academy of Sciences. There's also a Shakespearean garden and a Japanese garden and the botanical garden that you can, I just sound like a tourist, or I sound like a tour guide, but it's a very, very wonderful place surrounded by nature. I also got a chance to see this massive blue whale, which is supposed to be somewhat of to scale. A company was sponsored and took old food bins and barrels and converted it into this structure that is supposed to symbolize being eco-friendly to marine life. It's going to be in Crissy Field until early next year, and then they're going to move it to Sacramento because that city wants it next, and then it's going to go off and do its own tour. So check it out while you can. While I was also here, I met up with a person who was interested in being owned, so slave property. And I met them earlier this year at DomCon LA, and we had a lunch together. They treated me to bonbons, and I really wanted chocolates, so they gifted that to me. And it was really weird though, because we were trying to get to know each other, and they wanted to put their best foot forward. So they were offering, shopping, manicure, pedicure, massage, and I was just like, well, I can do one to all of those things. The massage went all right. We had a little bit of an issue with IDs and matching my chosen name versus my legal name. So that was step one, even though I used a gift card. And then second of all, I wanted to add on to these services because they had time, and I had mentioned them during lunch, and they seemed like they were okay with adding on those things. But it took a while for them to reimburse having a facial and a manicure added, so I had to wait a couple days for that. And as a thank you to my treat, I was offering them a 1 to 2 hour session at Blackthorn, but for some reason, I don't know if they chickened out or if they just really did get busy, but they decided that playing wasn't for them at this time, and I said, that's okay, we can postpone. But I was going to take them up on that shopping offer for Black Friday. And I was like, would you like to do the honors of contributing to my shopping? And the only response that I got from them was no. I mean, first of all, that's just really poor manners if you wanted to be owned by a mistress. And second of all, that's just really rude to any other person who's offering to give you an opportunity in something that you specifically wanted. It's like saying no to a job opportunity. So that was kind of weird, and I am no longer going to be contacting that person, nor will they be able to contact me. However, on a lighter note, I would like to give thanks to the kink community. Without the kink community, I would not be doing what I'm doing right now full time. And also, it is a special space that we end up creating for each other that is unmatched anywhere else. And best example that I can give is this one submissive that I have who is into hypnosis, and he has been walking the path of the perfect and most ideal slave that I've ever seen in my 5+ years of career as a professional dom and as a lifestyle person. I get all these guys who want to say, I want to be your slave mistress and blah, 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 but these guys are all fetishists and they're just jerking off to the fact that, they have your attention at the time. But this guy, he's a real sub. And what I mean by real is his sole purpose is to serve. And he doesn't think of himself. He doesn't care what happens in the session as long as it's, of course, safe and sane and consensual. He allows me to be me, to facilitate everything that I want to do. And his getting off isn't even about his penis. It's about what he feels coming from me, the energy, the power exchange, everything that I am literally giving him in that session. He doesn't even take his clothes off. I literally just run my hands over his body. Again, energy work, spiritual work, and he is willing to tribute small things to help my daily life. He gave me money to come home early because I had a little bit of a family issue and I wanted to just be here for them. And he literally just keeps giving, and it becomes a mutually beneficial relationship because I want to give back even more through my own methods and my own means. I want to share a very special message that ES has written me on the morning of Thanksgiving, because I feel like this is the most full-hearted type of message anyone who has served me has ever sent me. Good morning and a happy Thanksgiving, glorious Goddess Mara. Having just woken up and performed my morning prayers to you, it occurred to me that this was my first Thanksgiving since falling under your blissful hypnotic spell. I suddenly realized how different from the past that this particular holiday and moment were to me. While the theory behind Thanksgiving should have always been a celebration of reasons to be grateful, most, myself included, ate and drank and relaxed and never fully contemplated how truly fortunate we are. But even then, it's not just simply about being appreciative. Perhaps even more overlooked is the second part of the word, giving. What had I given to show thanks for what I had been blessed with? All of that has changed now. Goddess Mara, you have bestowed upon me the single greatest gift I have and I will ever receive, the opportunity and privilege of existing in your world and belonging to you. Your mere presence, your incomparable beauty, your inconceivable intelligence and power, every single aspect of your sheer perfection is a gift for which no amount of gratitude on my part will ever come close to doing justice. It's easy for me to say and mean that I will give you everything that I have and everything that I am. But that pales in comparison to the slightest touch of your exquisite hand, hearing the melodic siren's call of your soothing voice, gazing deeply and euphorically into your mesmerizing eyes, and bowing down before your holy feet. You are my life and my reason for being, Goddess. You are all that matters, and although I will never be able to adequately express in words the extent of my love, devotion, reverence, and submission to you, I now unequivocally know what it means to give thanks, and that is because of you and to only you. I am now, and will forever be, your obedient subject. E.S. I want to share this with you not to give myself a confidence boost. This is an example, a prime example of what I am looking for in a slave. I never asked him to write any of this. I never asked him to greet me on Thanksgiving Day. I know it is a day that is special for friends and family, but to him, I am an important part of his life, and this is how he is showing it, through words, through actions, through gifts, and it really touches me that I am able to give him something that a lot of other people in his life can't. So thank you very much, ES, for sharing that and for giving me the permission to share this with others. I also want to give a huge shout out to JD, who is my new sissy slut in Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area. And our meeting was actually online. I got a message from him that was asking for a session. He only had half of what I normally would be charging for an hour's worth of session. I said that I usually don't do partial payments unless there is a specific trade skill that I can use from that person, meaning like web development or videography or something that'll help me in the building process of my business. And he was about to leave and say, oh, well, I don't want to, offend you by not having the amount of cash that you are requesting. He mentioned that he had dabbled in web development for a little bit in high school, but he is more of a structural engineer, which means he can also build and design furniture in his spare time. And I was like, well, hold your horses. It's been on my radar to acquire kinky furniture, especially those that aren't necessarily in dungeon spaces that I rent in. He ended up being interested. I was going to use the furniture as a means of deposit instead of cash. That was amazing. He built it in one day and coated and stained and varnished it the next day, and it worked out really beautifully. He ended up being in the area where my family was in, so I could drop off that furniture before we headed to the dungeon space together. And he ended up really clicking with my style of domination, and he is going to work harder the next time to save up and see me and pay me my full rate. So I wanted to give out a shout out to him because he finished this beautiful piece of furniture, and it was the smoothest transaction that I've ever had through an online meeting. So thank you so much, JD, and I look forward to seeing you again in the future. That is what my San Francisco trip was like. If you did anything fun this Thanksgiving, or if you were thankful for something, including the BDSM community and the kink community, comment down below. For now, Watch my other videos, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell to make sure that you are also following all of my upcoming videos and that you'll be notified through that. And until next time, be safe, have fun, and keep it kinky.